I am Nikarasu with the Paparasu with another absolute fab video on Totally Spies. But I won't be talking about the cartoon series because it's been confirmed we're getting a live action show. And that's what I want to focus on in this video. I'm going to be discussing things that I want to see in a live action show. So far, we don't really have any information about it. I'd like to talk about ideas for the show before we get any information. Now, I'm not going to bring up any actors or actresses on who should play who, because the amount of actors and actresses I know is very little. I don't really care who ends up playing as who, just as long as the actors and actresses at least somewhat resemble the characters in appearances, or around the same age as the characters, but most importantly, know how the characters are portrayed and act as them. Now, before I get into it, there's one thing that I want you guys to know. This will most likely be my last video on Totally Spies until Season 7 ends. And of course, I'll make a video going over it, giving my thoughts on the 7th season. Before Season 7, we had 6 seasons and a movie of Totally Spies. A lot of things have happened, and I prefer that to stay with the cartoon series. I would like for the live action show to be its own thing, without being connected to the cartoon, have its own continuity, and not be canon to the cartoon. That way they can be more creative, as well as come up with new and different ideas. That way, it won't lead to any inconsistencies or errors. I would hope they would be able to prevent those as much as possible. Separating the live action from the cartoon would be a great way of avoiding those, especially if they want to add new and different things to the series. Now I'm going to be listing off new and different ideas for the live action series. These ideas range from the world and history, episodes and arcs, the gadgets, and finally, the characters. Now, starting off with the world and history. This section focuses on where the spies are at now in their lives, going a bit into their past, as well as go into Whoop and the rest of the world a bit. Sam, Clover, and Alex still live in LA, have been spies for 2 years, and are still in their early college years. Now, as we saw in the Totally Spies movie, that takes place before the beginning of the show, we see that the trio is getting ready for high school. They meet for the first time and work together, which was an incident set up by Whoop.
I guess after that bizarro experience, we should probably introduce ourselves. I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Alex, and you guys rocked back there.
Thanks. I'm Clover. And aside from the major drama we just went through, it's a total pleasure to meet you both.
Yeah, you know, we could go and have a ginger avocado milkshake to forget about our emotions. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
But what if this wasn't how they met? What if how the three met was different? What if the three had met even sooner? As in, what if they first met when they were little kids? What if the three had grown up together and had been besties ever since? They could make references from their childhood here and there, since the three had been so close for a long time. However, it wasn't a coincidence. The fact that they would meet, become friends, and be spies. Not only was it planned by Whoop, but also due to the fact that their moms used to be spies for Whoop. Before Sam, Clover, and Alex, there was a team of Gabriella, Stella, and Carmen, who were great spies in their own right. The trio had saved the world many times and were one of the best teams Whoop had. But as time went by, they would meet their husbands and settle down. They would be forced to be retired and completely be okay with that, since their new mission was to raise their daughters. Thinking that Sam, Clover, and Alex had picked up their mom's spy genes, he would spy on them to see if that was the case, and indeed it was. Knowing that their moms were once spies themselves, they were inspired to become an even greater team than they already are. Now, I don't think anything about Whoop needs to change specifically. It can all pretty much be the same. The only difference being is how the spies get whooped. Now, this is an actual change that I can see happening in the show, because of the fact that a lot of times how the spies get whooped is unrealistic and is cartoonish. A lot of times when writers make an adaptation of something, they make certain changes due to the fact it not being realistic, especially if they're making a live adaptation of the said thing. Now, if they do end up making that change, then how they should do it is if Whoop has some kind of teleportation device that's connected to their compilers, and as long as they have the compilers, they'll be able to transport to Whoop headquarters, which makes this method less cartoonish. I personally don't mind these unrealistic and cartoonish methods, but I can understand why the writers for the live-action show would want to change this. One more thing that I want to add to the world is for the existence of characters from other shows to be confirmed by references. Like one reference confirming the existence of the Center as well as Martin Mystery and his team, and another one confirming the existence of the Clark siblings. Now we move on to episodes and arcs. I'm not exactly sure how many episodes we'll get. We could get the standard 26 episodes, or I could even see it being less than that. Now I won't go through multiple different scenarios when it comes to episodes. I'll give an idea for one episode, the very first episode, and 2 ideas for arcs. So that's 7 episodes there. Before I said that the spies were still in their early years of college, and in the first episode they've only been in college for a few weeks, but lately their spy missions have caused them to miss out on classes. They haven't been keeping up with homework and class projects. Their grades are even starting to slip. They may be out saving the world, but that's not helping them in college. They want to be able to still be spies and keep up with their college work, which shows to be difficult at first. And then by the end of the episode, Jerry arranges a former Whoop agent to be the principal of Mally U, who's able to help out Sam, Clover, and Alex whenever they miss classes. He can give them the topics and details of the lessons, give them extension time on projects, or even arrange for them to take some kind of extra curriculum if they need to. Now this is something that wasn't really done in the cartoon series. Like at most, it kinda did cause them stress, but that's about it. It didn't have much of a negative effect on their daily lives.
3 finals, 2 essays, and an oral presentation isn't school, it's midterm torture.
Only serious girly bonding can save us now. We'll relax with facials, move into magazine time, then finish with a movie marathon.
Ooh! Hate to rain on the girly parade, but it looks like our report cards arrived early. All A's! I guess all those late nights cramming after missions really paid off.
Mostly A's and B's. A C in metal shop only counts if I want to be a blacksmith, which, FYI, I so don't.
Good news, honey. Seems there was a mix-up at school.
The F's didn't belong to you. You got A's and B's.
Despite being able to pass through high school, college is a lot more difficult. This change could be interesting since it could prove to have a negative impact in their lives. Now, arcs aren't anything new since we've gotten them before in the series. In Season 5, we got 2 arcs that mainly focus on the specific spy, while the other 2 spies still play a big role. The first one focuses on Clover, where she meets and immediately gets interested in a new character named Blaine. Clover was completely head over heels for Blaine, but as Clover and the other spies discovered, Blaine was also a spy who was sent on a mission to eliminate Clover by a mystery employer. After his first attempt to eliminate Clover, he tries to eliminate her again. But as it turned out, Blaine was actually a good spy. And as he learned from Jerry that Clover is a good spy and that the employer lied to Blaine to take out Clover. So Blaine decides to find this mystery employer and track them down. And that mystery employer turned out to be none other than Geraldine. Geraldine was still holding the grudge against Clover. For whatever reason that's never explained. Seriously, what did Clover do to her? By the end of the arc, with the help of Sam and Alex, Clover and Blaine are able to stop Geraldine. The other one mainly focused on Sam, in the Jazz Hands Returns arc. Sam ends up going on a solo undercover mission, called Secret Partnership. It was the very first time one of them went on a mission without the other 2 knowing. And since the other 2 don't know what Sam is doing, they get suspicious of her. Especially since they discovered that she was lying to them. And so Clover and Alex try to uncover what Sam is hiding from them. They end up finding out about Secret Partnership. From their point of view, it seemed as if Sam was teaming up with a villain, which they end up finding out was Jazz Hands. While not knowing, Sam pretends to be a new villain called Miss Spirit Fingers, which was part of her ploy to trick Jazz Hands into trusting her and get her on board with his plans. And so Sam goes on to break into a lab and steal a chip that Jazz Hands needs. However, Clover and Alex were following her and attempted to stop Sam, which leads to the 2 fighting her. After the fight, Jerry reveals to Clover and Alex that Sam was on an undercover mission the whole time, that was supposed to be kept under wraps from them. At first they were mad about it, well at least Clover was. But she along with Alex were more stoked that Sam wasn't really a villain. She's still their Sam. And so Jerry decides to add Clover and Alex to the mission to assist Sam. They were now in on secret partnership. In the end, the trio of the super spies were able to stop Jazz Hands and lock him up again. Jerry then declares that there will be no more secret solo missions, which makes them all happy, and Sam even admits that she would never spy without her friends again. Now that's one arc mainly focusing on Clover, and another mainly focusing on Sam. However, we never got an arc mainly focusing on Alex. And no, the Brittany visit arc doesn't count as an arc for Alex. An arc mainly focusing on Alex, while the other two still play a big role, is something that I would want to see in a live action show. While I do like Sam and Clover more, I still think Alex is a great character. She deserves her own arc. And I'm sure everyone whose favorite character in the series is Alex would agree with me. Now I don't have an idea for the plot of this arc. I just wanted it to be known that I would like to see an arc mainly focusing on Alex. As for the second arc, the main villain will be Jerry's evil twin brother Terrence, with a big change from the cartoon. In the live-action universe, Terrence created his own spy organization, an evil spy organization, which would be called Lamos. Terrence created Lamos to take out Whoop and to take over the world, all to get back at Jerry. And what Terrence does is send one of his own spies to infiltrate Whoop, as a double agent to trick Jerry and the rest of Whoop to gather information. He'll give away all of its secrets to Terrence, so that they can take out Whoop, even if they have to do it from the inside. After a while, Terrence, the double agent, and Lamos will carry out the plan to take out Whoop. As the double agent tricks and traps the super spies, he not only reveals that he's an agent of Lamos, but he's also Terrence's son, who shares his father's goal in wanting to eliminate Jerry and world domination. Like with the Lamos arc, I would want more than 3 episodes. I would probably prefer if there was at least 5 maybe? They could also spread around the first few episodes. The first episode of the arc could be like episode 3, the second could be episode 11, and the third could be episode 18. And the last 2 episodes in the arc could be the last 2 episodes of the season. Now we move on to the gadgets. And quite honestly, I thought I would have a few, but I don't really have anything. I wasn't able to come up with new ideas for gadgets because there are so many of them and I don't know what there are and aren't. I mean, I do go over how they have a bunch of gadgets in my first video on Totally Spies. Jerry gives them the details of the mission and supplies them with gadgets that prove to be really useful in the missions. And all the gadgets they had looked like beauty appliances. Their main gadget is the compounder, which is used for many things, such as communicating with Jerry or each other. They're also able to use the compounder to instantly change their clothes. Another gadget that they used frequently were their heart-shaped jetpack backpacks that they would use to fly. The laser lipstick, a laser that looks like a lipstick. I'll let Jerry list some other ones.
The ever-expanding bubblegum, the suction cup bottom drill heel go-go boots,
Oh, Trey, you're chic.
the Heat Sensor 6000 infrared motion detector sunglasses,
Wow, coolio!
the molecular separating perfume, the tornado in a can of hairspray,
Awesome!
the super foaming pomade grenade,
And that isn't even all of them. Jerry still has plenty of gadgets that he can give to the spies. You get the idea. There are so many gadgets that it's hard for me to come up with a new original one. However, I do have one idea that is different. What if some gadgets are compatible with other ones? Meaning, what if they could put gadgets together so they can do different things with them? That could be an interesting idea right there. But I feel like this might be my weakest one. Now moving on to the final section, characters. Here, I'm going to give new and different ideas for what they can do with characters, and even mention characters that I'd like to see in the show, which is what I'll start with. First is Arnold. We haven't seen him since the first episode of the 5th season. He can attend the same college as the spies and even play a small role like he did in the cartoon series.
Clover, you're overreacting. There are tons of great available guys everywhere.
Like those two? Salutations, lovely ladies.
There's also Mandy's old minions, Caitlin and Dominique. They'll be backed by Mandy's side and get on the nerves of the spies, along with their leader Mandy.
Now that I've seen you like this, my year is complete!
Next up is Gladys, the supercomputer created by Jerry and debuted in the 3rd season of the show. I like to see Gladys make a comeback because I thought she was kind of funny with her sass. Gladys was removed after the 4th season of the show.
Clover, you'll have the sonic disintegrator boombox.
Jer, your Gladys seems to be a bit buggy.
I said the sonic disintegrator boombox, Gladys.
Negative.
Don't negative me. I wired you, I can unwire you.
Double negative. I hardwired myself into the mainframe.
Wow, it does have a mind of its own.
Now I'm sure a character that everybody can agree on to come back is Brittany. Who besides Alex wouldn't want Brittany to come back? Not only should she return, but she should also return with a new team. Not the one she showed the spies in Season 3. Instead, she should be part of a team that we haven't seen in the cartoon series. And her partners would also be characters that were in the original show. Brittany's team would consist of obviously her, Dean, who first appeared in the 3rd season at the end in the Evil Promotion Much arc, and a character that I've already talked about in this video, Blaine. The 3 of them would be considered the 2nd best spy team in Whoop. There could be a time where the 3 of them have to save Sam, Clover, and Alex, and a time where it's the other way around. And now finally, I'll go over what they can do differently with our favorite spies. I was saving the best for last. I'll start off with Alex. Alex is part of Malayu's soccer team. However, due to her competitive side, she tends to ignore her teammates in games. And because of that, Alex is forced to take an extracurricular where she has to be an assistant coach for younger kids. At first she's bummed out about the idea, but that all changes when she meets the actual team's coach, who she ends up crushing on. She'll then go on to show off her soccer skills to try and impress him. He is left impressed, however he reminds Alex of their roles as coaches, and what she can learn from coaching with him. Alex not only learned from it, but she also ended up enjoying it. Especially since she got a new boyfriend out of it. As for Clover, she could be a social media influencer, which they're kinda already doing in Season 7. But in the live action show, Clover can have her own social media channel, where her content is based around showing off fashionable clothes. She'll even wear them as she models in her videos. She can make fashion trends and be a model at the same time. And now, as for Sam, something that I tend to forget sometimes in the cartoon series is the fact that she's extremely wealthy. Since she comes from a wealthy background. In the first 2 seasons of Totally Spies, Sam and her parents lived in a mansion. So it's safe to say that she and her family were loaded, but I tend to forget because it was rarely ever used in the series. Which is fine, since it wasn't the primary focus on her character. And given how she is as a character, I can see why they don't use it often. But in a live action show, maybe they can have her use it a bit more. Given her sweet and caring nature, she could use her wealth to help others and make a difference in their lives. And that about covers this video. Whether they're your thoughts on the live action show, or your thoughts on this video, regarding what I've said, or if I didn't mention anything that comes to mind, you're welcome to share your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed what's now my longest video on Totally Spies, give this video a like. If you're new to my channel, feel free to check out my other videos, shorts, posts, and subscribe if you haven't already.